I'm Steve McDermott. I'm the founder of the Confident Club. 15 years ago, we had this idea. Wouldn't it be great if people could learn the secrets of professional speakers? The conference today, one of the people often ask me, what's the top tip to being a great presenter? And I say it's being yourself, or another way of saying that is being prepared to be vulnerable. So you've probably all seen these speakers that are like really slick and, everything's perfect. And the point what you need to know is the audience hate that, because they can't relate to them. Whereas today I had quite a few brain freezes where I couldn't find the clicker for the slides. And it's like, so what? That's just me being vulnerable. So I think Oscar Wilde said, be yourself because everybody else is taken. I think that's the top tip. But you do need some help and some strategies and structures to get to the place where you can genuinely be 100% yourself. Yeah, so today I was talking about having acute depression, which is kind of quite ironic in it for a motivational speaker, right? And the reason I wanted to do that was because I think it's sadly still a stigma, any kind of mental health issue, but particularly say depression. And I had a really bad bout of depression, and I thought at the time the challenge is you want to keep, A, you feel ashamed, you're a motivational speaker. B, you think you've got to keep it a secret. And then the other thing I realised was that people just don't understand it. So today I thought, right, I'm banging on about being vulnerable. I'm going to have to just be front up here and tell people what's going on and what it's like, because 1 in 4 people in the UK are going to have some sort of mental health issue in the next 12 months. And we need to take it from being a stigma to being something as daft as it sounds that's normal. 20 years ago people used to say the big C, they wouldn't dare say the word cancer. Now we've got cancer this, cancer that. 20 years ago you couldn't have had the same sex marriage. Now we go, great, But still, it would appear with mental illness and the key thing is because it's not understood. So my main goal was to try the best I could to get people to understand what it's like to have a mental illness. But more importantly, what you can do to help you in that situation. Yeah, so it's a theme for the whole day really, and it's something I talk about a lot. So listening, so the fact is most people just don't listen. And I'm going to generalise wildly here and say mainly men. Right, so men tell, and I think I said earlier, men, and only men tell jokes really. So in the pub, one man's telling a joke about a dog, and the other guy's thinking, I've got a joke about a dog. So they don't listen to the joke, they're just waiting their turn to say their piece, which is why you only ever know one joke. Well, most people are just waiting their turn to reply. They're not listening, they're just waiting their turn, or listen with half a ear. Or more importantly, often people listen with prejudice. So we were talking about, for example, earlier, the challenges of mental illness. And if you don't understand things like that, then you're listening to this person, but you're really making judgments in advance. You're prejudging or listening with prejudice. So I think Stephen Covey, who's a bit of a hero of mine, said it the best, first seek to understand before being understood. So I think the number one skill, not just in, ironically, when we teach presentation skills, people think that's about talking, but it's as much about listening to your audience and noticing what's going on. So even in presentations, it's not just about talking, but certainly in business and in life, and I think the other half for me was, again, generalising wildly, how men and women tend to communicate differently. So when I was challenged by depression, I kept it all inside and thought, I don't want to burden my wife with this because it'll be too much, right? And of course the irony was, so I'm an internal processor, she's a massive external processor, so the best thing I could do is to tell her everything. Well, that's a big aha. So that's just in the personal life, but in business it's the same thing. When you think about your colleagues and your clients, we all need to be communicated to in different ways, and we need to be listened to. There's nothing better. When was the last time you knew somebody 100% listened to you? How does that feel? Because it's a rare experience. So today we've launched the Young Confident Club, right? And there's a few reasons for that. First reason is we've been running presentation mastery for, if you like, adults. I hate people do that, by the way. Adults for years, right? And a lot of them have gone, this stuff's fantastic, because although it's presentation training, actually a lot of people think it's life-changing because it's the number one fear for most people, and they confront that fear and they come out the other end with the secrets of professional speakers. So it's like how to present without notes, how to have a great memory, how to get people in the room, like loads of, you probably noticed today, those people here, loads of props, so they're without a prop you're a flop, so a prop rather than a slide, all that. So and they're going, don't you do this for kids? Don't you do this for kids? This would be great for like a 16-year-old to like a 22-year-old. So we're going, you're right. But we had a bit of a mental block, which is, well, how would that work? Because we have this, it's quite a high ticket price, right? This offer, chief execs, whatever. How would you make that for like 20 kids in a room? Separate to that, so we knew there was a need. Also, recently, topically, the BBC did an article about companies, including McDonald's, going, kids in particular, or young people, need these things called soft skills. Now, I don't know what a soft skill is, but we'd probably call it interpersonal skills, but being good at communicating, being assertive, being a good team player. So we know that the companies say young people need this. We know that parents are saying young people need this. So we go, well, how can we solve that problem? I'm too old to solve it. So what we brought in is some really interesting, on fire young people. Now I've got to tell you, a bit rough around the edges, like one of them's only 19, right? But we understand the young person's mindset. So the goal is, we've got a massive reason why, there's a definite need, but we need people's help because we're not sure how we're going to do this yet. So corporate sponsorship, I don't know how it'll work, but the idea is to not have soft skills, but to have life-changing skills. So what's most important to me, I think, currently is leaving a legacy. I think. I've been doing this a long time, and in fact, sadly today, one of the people who got mentioned quite a few times was a dear friend of mine called Clive Gott, who was also a Yorkshire motivational speaker. There was more than one of us. Now, sadly, Clive died quite young at 52, and he has some fantastic stuff, but it's all disappeared into the ether because his website's gone down. Everything's just gone, and that's why personal friends like me are making it part of our legacy to continue to talk about Clive and what he talked about. But I think there's got to be a better way too, right? So I want to leave a legacy both in terms of when I'm not here, my ideas are still here, but when I'm not here, other people that I've influenced are still here, i.e. the Young Confident Club.